This is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, June 21st from Sarasota, Florida. I'm Seth Johnson.
From Reynoldsburg, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome back to the HomeTech Podcast, a podcast all about home automation, home technology, trips to Vegas. I don't know. I guess what happened in Infocomm stays in Infocomm.
Except you're cold.
Yeah, besides getting sick.
That always comes back with you.
Exactly. The cold came back.
Wash your hands and use hand sanitizer, people. It's not hard.
I guess you shouldn't spit in your hand and shake it for all those, signing deals and stuff. Is that what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, that's how you seal the deal. If you don't spit in your hand, it's not official.
It's like slapping your cargo when you pack it up, You gotta slap it. It's good to go.
That's what we did when we packed everything back up from the booth. We did, put it in a crate and I hit it real hard and was like, well,
that's not going anywhere besides the Florida.
Oh man, it was a pretty good show. Went better for us this time, and we were a little more organized for shipping stuff in and out, which is better. 2 of these things under my belt now, so I feel like we did. It was less stressful once we were there, but getting to the show was always the hard. That's the hard part. Overall, a pretty interesting show. Most all of it was commercial based. There was 1 or 2 residential stuff based products there, which I thought was interesting. Speaker Snap was of course there. I had to say hi to them.
Yeah, I love Speaker Snap.
There you go.
They have so many cool things coming out.
Yeah, we sell them now, and they had one of those bottle things of banana clips, the 100 pack or whatever it is, sitting in the booth. I'm like, I'm gonna steal that. I want that. I know they just gave it to us for the show or whatever. And I was like, I don't need it. I would never use all those, but I really want them. Yeah, they just open it up and close it. Open it up and close it. Oh man.
I mean, when I went to Cedia, I asked them. They had some Keystone ones on the table or whatever, and I was like, "Oh man, I love these. They're awesome. Whatever, you guys take as many as you want." And I was like, I want to take the whole jar, but that was nice. I only took 8, so I need them for my house actually. So
yeah, cool company. Who else was there? I did run across, and I have to look up their names. I've got to find all my cards and stuff from the show, all the stuff that I brought back. But there was a company there. I'll find them. They sent me an email because they want to follow up. But they made a surround sound retrofit product that I thought was pretty cool. I hadn't seen anything like this before. But say you have a house that you can't retrofit wires in, and you really want to have that Dolby Atmos surround sound setup. They have this. They use the power lines, right? They've got an HDMI box that's up by the TV. And it plugs in, and then it retransmits the audio for all the surround sound stuff to the subwoofer, to the rear channel speakers, to the other Atmos speakers on the sides and wherever. And they have these little 100 watt amplifiers that plug in to the speakers, and so you have a decent little setup, no receiver at all. It just kind of goes right off the e-arc on the TV. Grabs the Dolby Atmos, and I thought it was pretty cool, pretty inventive product, and something I hadn't seen before. It goes over the power line. They were using the power lines inside from the trade show, which I thought was a testament to their, their product. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. They were showing that off, and I think they said they were going to be at Cedia too. So hopefully we'll take a look at them there again. I'll have to look up what they were. I'll put their name in the show notes because they're a startup company. I think they debuted at CES, he said. So this was their second show this year. And they were excited to go to CES. So, pretty cool product.
Yeah, I like that actually because receivers are nice and they're necessary if you need a home theater, but they're basically your only option if you just want wired speakers without all the video distribution side of things. And it's just nice to have a small little amplifier that does all that stuff for you. So you don't have to have that big clunky AV receiver. Nobody wants that. Then you got to buy a silly universal remote, which nobody makes anymore unless you're URC or Control 4.
Yeah, this comes right off the TV. And whatever's playing there. Here it is. It's called Audio Q. And it's Audio Q copper, CU copper, I guess. Is that how you spell copper? Or the element for copper? I'm not sure.
Oh, I think I have seen this company. Are they a Kickstarter? What are they? I was seeing them on Facebook ads or something like that.
Yeah, they may be doing all the direct to consumer rounds and everything right now. Because I think
this totally makes sense.
It's really cool. And they had in their booth, they had speakers hooked up in their booth and they were playing them. They sounded great. I mean, in the middle of a trade show and whatnot. But I've been in many homes here in Florida that have like concrete floors, concrete walls, like concrete ceilings, you know, because it's a condo or whatever. There's no way you're retrofitting anything, but you do have power. And if you wanted to have a real surround sound or some real speakers hooked up in the room, this would be the only way to do it. So it's a great little solution over the power line. And since it was working inside the show, I guess you could do whole house audio off it too. Like you could just take
that'd be sweet
additional amplifiers and run them out too. So yeah, they
throw some
had
Dante
a nice
on there. We'll be good to go.
Dante, yeah. They were the only booth that didn't have Dante. I'm like, where's your Dante? I don't understand.
I thought every audio product needed it.
Dante, too good. Yeah, it's a pretty cool product. Probably one of the most interesting one I saw for the home. At the commercial expo. It was weird. It was divided into two large rooms. I guess, you know, here in Orlando, it's TJ, you've been to it. It's just like the entire old exhibition hall, like the whole thing. And you can walk for days to get across it. And
it always sucks to find you in the trade show because you're like, I'm at booth, 469. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. Where is that? And you walk and like none of the rows make sense or anything.
Right. 469. I'm on 5,250. Yeah, oh, no, this isn't good.
I don't know where it is.
Yeah. This one was divided up. So somehow they managed to take all of the smoke machines and mirrors and giant LCD
fart
TV
clouds
things,
and everything.
Fart clouds. Yeah. They moved all that to like a different hall. So none of that was going on. And they had more like control and just more like video distribution and audio distribution type products in one hall. And it was nice. I was able to sit there and see a few things. Now I did eventually escape and go to the other hall. You had to take a Tesla in a tunnel, which was odd, but you had to take this Tesla. It goes underground in a tunnel, and this guy drives you over to the other thing and drops you off, and then you get out and walk through the heat and eventually get to the other trade show. And it was quite cool. I did see this. Now this is something that was new. I have not seen before. I haven't seen people exhibiting this kind of thing until recently. But it's basically the cubes that make up the LCD panels, and they put them on like actuators or something. I don't know, where they can move them back and forth. And so the entire panel is divided into all these little squares, and then they can texture it and move it back and forth and do crazy stuff with it. I don't really know how to explain it other than that, because it's a very interesting way to show video, because you can push elements of it out. And LG, of course, like had a very large one, like 30 foot tall or something. It was crazy.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's always fun stuff at Infocomm. And they had, there was another one I saw, like they had like smoke coming out, like not smoke, like a mist. And they were projecting, a projector was projecting like an image of fire or a dragon or something flying around in the mist. It was really cool. But as always, anything and everything that you want to ever dream about doing with video, you can do, evidently, because that's Infocomm. To me, that's what it's all about. TJ goes and hears about Dante. I go and say like, wow, literally you can do anything you want to with a video signal, including the Sphere thing, which was wild. I went to a show there.
Oh,
and that was fun. Very large screen inside, if you like that. I got to hear the holoplot speakers finally, which are the insane speakers that were basically made fit to order for that venue. And they weren't very good at first. It's kind of sad. I don't know. They did get better towards the end of the show.
They spent all their money on the video.
They needed to warm up or something. I don't know. It took them a while maybe to dial it in. I don't know. I would have figured it's the same show. You know, they play the same show every night over and over again. So you would think that like the audio engineer would have his stuff together, but I guess not, because it was really like strange and muffled at the very beginning. But as the evening went on, things did get clearer, I guess is the only way to describe it. I thought I was going to listen to this mush all night, but it opened it up, and then they were able to kind of play with it. It was a Grateful Dead concert. So like, it was basically this weird, trippy, hallucinogenic drum thing in middle end of it, and they were able to do whatever the heck they wanted to with the sound at that point. And you were hearing sounds over your shoulder and all that crazy stuff. So that it was very impressive. But for the most part, it was an experience. If you're in Vegas, check out the Sphere or whatever's playing there. It's probably worth seeing at least once in your life. It was a pretty good show overall. That's my review on Las Vegas. And then leave without getting sick. Yeah, exactly. And anyway, I left and what was it? Apple. I think Apple WWDC was like right at the beginning, right at the beginning of that week. I missed most of it.
What's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Never heard of it.
It's where they don't talk about HomeKit anymore.
I know we talked about that before, and I told you I did not expect them. You know, the thing is like, you look at their history, and every year for the last 5 years, people are all excited about what they think they're going to talk about HomeKit at WDC, and they end up just letting everybody down. And I set the bar low, and they still didn't even, make it to my bar.
Yeah, but I think they're not. I don't think they need to even talk about HomeKit anymore. Like, the HomeKit's the framework that the developers get to play with. Like, it is what it is. Like, it's there, and developers can use it to integrate with stuff if they want to. But for the most part, like, all the integrations and everything, if that kind of moves and slides over to Matter, they could just say Matter device is updated. I guess it's one of the things they did announce was they're going to have like saw a study over on The Verge saying that the robot vacuums were going to show up in iOS 18. So
I wonder if that's because of, they're probably just adding the robot vacuums. Well, I wonder if that's also because of Matter, right?
Yeah, it's Matter 1.2, right? Yeah. So they'll be able to do that. And there's some new locks, I guess, the ultra wideband locks, where if you're within 6 feet of them, they will unlock. But according to some people, that doesn't work all the time, especially if you leave and for vacation or something, you come back, it doesn't automatically lock when you get home. So
I expected to hear more stuff from the breakout sessions afterwards, and it was pretty quiet still even afterwards. Like, I didn't expect them to really. Usually people do a freeze frame and grab some things off slides on the keynote. Yeah. And that's where you get some stuff from, and then usually get more details afterwards. But it was pretty quiet afterwards on the HomeKit front, and maybe it all is just they'll just integrate Matter and they don't really care after that, right?
Yeah, I don't think they really have to do anything. Like, the interface is there. If you want to use it, you can. If you want it, HomeKit allows other developers, like the one we talked about a couple weeks ago, that can make like a scan your home and make an interface of the house and everything. If you're a developer and you want to use those API frameworks, you can. They're there. But we even heard like a couple of months ago that Apple wasn't even going to be using the HomeKit moniker anymore. Like, they kind of move away from that branding and just say, yeah, it works with Matter, that kind of thing. So I don't know. I think HomeKit is kind of like, what is it? Like MapKit. Like, nobody really talks about MapKit.
So is HomeKit dead? Ooh.
It's not dead. It's just part of the OS, you know? They did have some quick announcements about like, it was a very brief announcement about, what was it? Home, what do they call it? Home and TV OS, like some updates on Home and TV OS. And I guess the Apple TV is going to be updated where you can view actors and character names or whatever's on the screen, just like you can with what Amazon does that. Amazon Prime app does that. And then tvOS will use some kind of, they say it's machine learning, could be AI. We don't know. It could be Apple Intelligence, could be Siri, could be ChatGPT. But what they're going to do is clean up the vocal clarity so you don't miss any dialogue, and you can have subtitles show up intelligently when you're playing things. So if you like skip back from what I understand, like you skip back, it'll pop up the subtitles. Like if you didn't understand something, sounds good. If they solve the problem of unintelligible TV shows, that would be a good thing. Maybe they could just make less unintelligible TV shows.
Yeah, why do we have unintelligible TV shows in the first place?
First place.
We're watching and listening, and we still can't listen, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. There's all the talk about the Apple Siri is going to get smarter because it's going to inject all this AI stuff, and like, I don't care. I mean, and then the image things sound kind of cool where you can like draw your own images, or I can take a picture of Gavin and then say, hey, make a picture of Gavin doing something crazy.
I think people found that actually freaky. They didn't like that too. People taking pictures and modifying it and stuff. And a lot of the keynote, like you're going through these features, but a lot of it sounds like features that are available already in other platforms.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? And
Apple's
I mean, just playing catch up now.
Even on Apple's own platform, if you use third-party apps, many of the features they went over, you can already do through either paid, probably most likely paid apps, but they're gonna toss them in at the OS level, and that generally elevates everything else too. So it'd be good. I think it looks like a nice update. I'm more excited about than anything on iOS 18, not HomeKit related. I'm excited that on the lock screen, I can swap out the stupid flashlight button so I don't turn the flashlight on in my pocket anymore. Like I can change that or disable it or whatever and change it to something else.
The only thing I was excited about was scheduled text messages.
That looks pretty good.
Because I wake up at 6 o'clock every morning and I start doing my emails and texting and everything like that. And it always sucks when I can't text people from my personal number early in the morning.
Oh, you're that guy.
Yeah. So I schedule all my stuff, my emails, my text messages for work, all that stuff. And I use OpenPhone for the business line, and theirs is super nice. So you can just schedule it for whatever time, but you can also just type in exactly when you want it to send. So instead of like sitting there going through a little scrolly wheel of all the times and dates and everything, I'm just like, send this tomorrow at 8:46 a.m. And it's like, all right.
Nice. Well, maybe Siri will be upgraded with all this AI stuff they're talking about. Probably not, though. I'm not hopeful.
Wishful thinking.
So anyway, that's Apple. I'm sure everybody's here. I didn't even watch it, honestly. I tried to watch a little bit of it and I didn't have time to mess around with it. So I didn't, all I heard was all the people talking about all the AI stuff and all the picture stuff. And I was like, this is, whatever. It did say in iOS 18 that there is going to be a new API that allows you to select your preferred home hub. So that does sound kind of interesting. Like you can say,
designate one.
Yeah, I don't want it to be this Apple TV, but I want it to be this HomePod or vice versa or whatever. So that'd be nice. Because sometimes it picks the wrong one. It's like, why are you on that? Like, you go in and plug it and have to wait for it to reset to the other one and then plug it back in. And then it goes back for some reason. So that's a nice welcome feature. A lot of good feature improvements and useful updates, especially if they get rid of the stupid flashlight on the home screen. That's awful. So no flashlight on the home screen, robot vacuums, and scheduled text messages. All good things. All right. We do have a bunch of other stuff that actually happened in the last 2 weeks. So what do you see? Do we jump into these HomeTech headlines?
Let's do it.
Well, speaking of being smart, speaking of AI, Amazon Alexa is reportedly struggling to keep up in the AI race, according to a new report over in Fortune. Despite being one of the most capable voice assistants, Alexa faces significant challenges in its generative AI makeover. Interviews with former employees revealed organizational dysfunction and technological hurdles that have hindered progress. The new, more conversational Alexa demoed last fall remains limited preview and may not meet its full potential. Kind of sad to hear. Like, I guess Amazon kind of pushed back on the story too. I read somewhere, but I don't know. Like, you'd think that this would be in their wheelhouse, something that they could pull off, because Alexa's been kind of like at the forefront of a lot of the like sounding good and actually having decent responses, and then knowing the right thing to say. Now it's like, well, they worked pretty hard on making it work like that. Like now they've got to kind of like reorganize and make this large language model thing fit into it. I don't know. May not work for them.
And what I can't figure out is if Amazon's running behind on this stuff, right, is why don't they just do what Apple did and integrate with OpenAI and then just fill in that gap and go on with your day and focus on selling stuff? Like that seems to be the trend these days. You know, OpenAI is there. It allows integration. Just jump on the train. Let's that way Alexa gets smarter, and we don't have to wait for it, and they don't have to develop something new and waste all these resources, and they can go back to, selling stuff.
You just have OpenAI train the Alexa LLM, and then
genius.
Yeah. There you go.
It's like 3D printers. You just make one, make the other.
Print a new one.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to see. It would be nice to hear that or see what happens with that new conversational Alexa that they were demoing. It seems like it's been a while. What was it say last fall? I remember seeing that and thinking, oh, that does sound cool, but still not going to hook Alexa back up. But for the people who like using it, might be a good thing. So hopefully we'll hear it soon. Who knows?
I just think Amazon's going to find a way to make the new Alexa give you a by the way without saying by the way. You know what I mean? Like that's when Amazon gets in these things, they're like, how can we make this thing talk you into buying something else? And it's just, I don't want my Alexa to talk more. I just want her to be correct when I ask her things, so we will see.
Well, that's what like everybody was like, oh, we can make it a product and it'll talk to people and they'll want to buy stuff from this robot thing that is a really good kitchen timer. And it's like, no, who honestly thought that was a good idea? Like, did they talk to anyone who bought these things? Like, I don't understand. Like, we just wanted to make a kitchen timer and tell us a good dad joke. And now you think that like I bought this thing and now you want me to buy stuff through it?
Well, the problem is all these companies have sold them for super cheap. And so they haven't made a lot of money on them. And then they have the ongoing service costs and everything like that. So of course they want you to buy something. They're losing money on it. And that's been reported a lot of times. So I don't see the voice assistants being like a permanent thing personally, but we'll figure something out and evolve into something else.
Right.
Amazon doesn't like losing money.
Well, evidently they do.
It's a shipping service.
I don't know. Evidently they do. They billions of dollars on the Alexa alone each year. So yeah, we'll see. I don't understand why that was the end goal. It didn't make any sense when they announced it. It didn't make any sense now. Like, make a good product, make it work really well, make it the best home assistant possible, and people will flock to it. But if they don't, make it the best kitchen timer ever, like ever made. Like,
they tried that with the microwave. They tried that with the wall clock. I mean, what else do you want?
We stuck it in everything. Put it in your car. Oh man. I don't know. It just seems like the marketing team had a little too much sway on that one, and like, oh, we can make people buy stuff with talking to the speaker. I don't know.
Genius.
The better product they had. Remember those little buttons you could buy? That was like a Tide button. The most wasteful
subscribe
thing
buttons or something like that.
Yeah, you just go push the button when you run out, and like you get a new thing. It just shows up. It's like, that was a great idea. Building that into a speaker that you have to talk to and it orders the wrong thing, not a great idea.
Well, you didn't have to buy those either, I don't think, right? You got those for free.
But they do free, and I think eventually they did charge a few bucks for them or something like that. So
yeah.
But they didn't make them correctly. I don't know. They're all shut down now, but they didn't make them correctly where like the battery could replace or something like that, because it was all branded stuff on top of it.
People were buying them to hack them into home automation systems anyway.
Exactly.
So it's the only time I ever heard about anybody actually using those. Maybe I saw one client with one at their house, but everybody else was like, I'm buying these to program with Home Assistant.
And that could be part of the home automation thing. Is like, okay, I'm going to put one of these where I store the toilet paper or whatever. And when we're getting low, I'm just going to press that button and a little green light will light up saying, all right, gotcha. And then a couple of days later, toilet paper shows up. Like, it just seems like a better idea than talking to a speaker like, hey, order me some toilet paper. Like, nobody's going to want to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. We got more fun stuff to talk about than Amazon. So Blink has introduced a new feature called Moments that automatically combines relevant clips from multiple cameras into a single video. Aims to simplify monitoring and sharing footage, whether with friends, family, or the authorities. The feature began rolling out on June 4th, and be available to all Blink users in multiple cameras in the coming weeks. Requires Blink Subscription Plus plan, but not the Blink Sync mobile hub. Moments are generated when two or more cameras record motion activated or save live view clips within 45 seconds of each other. So something happens, a couple of these cameras like use a little bit of smarts to stitch things together, and you get a nice little seamless video. And you can flip back and forth through it. This is a pretty cool idea. I like this stuff. This is really cool.
Yeah, this is good. What was that other consumer company that came out with something similar? It was the Eufy cameras or something like that.
It was Eufy, yeah.
Where you just recorded the actions and then just gave you the highlights of the actions throughout each camera. And that's kind of nice because usually, for example, we have a male person that comes every day, and they walk in front of the front yard camera, then the doorbell camera, and then the driveway camera. But then if I want to see that, I have to go to 3 individual recordings or 3 individual cameras to see it.
Yep.
And so it'd be nice if Blue Iris maybe just released that update, so I don't have to do that.
Yeah, that's actually...
I'm sure it won't be convoluted at all.
It's actually not a bad idea if Blue Iris added that in. But I've seen this feature on another camera. I just can't remember where it was.
Maybe it's an option.
Yeah. And I can't remember if it was someone in the hub that showed us this once, but where it would follow a person from camera to camera and stitch it together.
We did talk about the Eufy. It's Eufy cost camera tracking. It requires their $150 Homebase 3. That they came out with that a couple months back, and I do know that I was talking to someone at the show actually about UniView, some of the new features that they'll be coming out with their new cameras or new AI capabilities in their cameras. They'll be able to do pretty much this, like what Eufy's doing, where it'll cross track across cameras, where you can watch the video, you can click on the person with the blue shirt and follow them across across each one of them without having to change videos all the time. What's really nice is my my Unify Protect. Like if I'm watching something on the camera and I switch to another camera, it picks up at the same time. So like if something goes over there, I can flip over to it. It's a nice feature. Other camera systems should have that.
Cameras, the most convoluted thing after printers.
Blue Iris has that.
Yeah.
just throwing that out there. Just giving, let you know. It'll shift from camera to camera based on motion.
It's not fun though.
It is fun. Well, your idea of fun is totally different than my idea of fun, so.
Well, Arlo has introduced a new NFC-enabled security tag. It allows users to disarm their home security system with just a tap. And the tap can interact directly with the keypad hub inside the home or the Arlo video doorbell before you enter. So for $20 for a 2-pack, you get a tag, integrates with your security app, and you walk up to your front door, tap it on your Arlo video doorbell, your security system disarms inside, and you can walk right on in. And that's I like it. Pretty good idea.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like tapping is so like old school. You know what I mean?
now that you can just walk through your door within 6 feet.
I feel like the current situation should be, if you have a little device on you anyway, it should be able to just walk up to your door and disarm based on detecting. I mean, if you have the key and you're going to tap it anyway, and you have the key, you're going to walk up. I feel like making somebody do something like that is so old school compared to, like how it should be nowadays. Like, I just say in my house, I have it set up so as we drive in, it disarms the whole alarm automatically and opens a specific door for us, right? And it works flawlessly, right? So I've never had any issues with that.
Still first world problems, Gavin. I mean,
I know. But when I see a new product come out and it feels like this product is from like 2 years ago, like the current state should be you walk up and it unlocks it for you. It disarms the alarm for you. Like, stop making me tap things or, type in codes or anything like that or scan my finger. Like, I think it should just be able to notice me and, whether the camera does. I know there's a brand that came out with facial recognition and can. I
think it was Google. Yeah, Google did. They had it would recognize your face. It would unlock your door.
That's like a current time solution. That's like a future thinking, that we need to be looking at. To be honest, like, I don't want to tap something.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Tapping
You could tap your phone, but that's too convoluted too.
Well, yeah, and then the same thing there. Tapping your phone, tapping your watch, tapping this, and even I guess Apple see it because they now auto unlock unless you weren't there in the last day, and then you got to now tap it again or whatever.
Do you think I could tap to unlock with Apple Vision Pro? Just walk up and head bump the video doorbell.
If it's got NFC, you can. I guess I don't know. I mean, this reminds me of like every access control system out there on the face of the planet.
Right?
So
you can buy, how much are these tags?
They were $20. So a little bit more expensive than what you...
Yeah, you can buy like a billion of them for like $70.
Yeah, just more to lose. you know.
Well, and is it really a good alternative to a key? The only time I could think that this would be a good alternative to a key is if like you want to give somebody else access to your house without giving them a key or like a code for some reason. I don't know if I'd want to rely on this compared to just having a key, right?
I just give them a key. You know, either I gotta buy another tag or I gotta give them another key.
The key's more difficult to change out. So
I will say, if you've ever had relatives come over to your house while you were away, and the anxiety that may produce when they don't know how to disarm your security panel or something, you know, like that this may actually be a pretty good
well, that's true
thing that you can say, oh, just go and tap on the thing and then it'll tell you it's disarmed. Because I mean, I have a Ring security system and like I can arm it through the app, but like I couldn't tell you on the keypad. Like I can look at it for about 10 minutes and like, oh, okay, yeah, that's how this thing works. But if I'm not familiar with it, like, yeah, that, you know, I push the button in, I don't know if it works. I went over I have relatives that have another Ring system, went over to their house to feed their cat one time. And they had the volume down on theirs, and I didn't hear that it was counting down on me. I was like, oh, yeah, they have a security system, and run over and disarm the thing real fast. So, yeah, this might be pretty good for different use cases outside of, you know, the homeowner, you know, like being able to come in and disarm the system. So not automatic enough for Gavin, though.
No. I need future thinking, not like last year's thinking, you know?
Hey, if you like the access control system at your office, this is perfect for you. Let's move into the state of universal remotes in 2024. There are a couple of new news. Well, first, I guess we'll talk about the Unfolded Circle Remote 3. If you don't know about the Unfolded Circle and their Remote 1 or 2, now they have a Remote 3. And this one is on Kickstarter. It's 279 euros or for a limited time and 349 euros MSRP. They've got a dock, a remote and a dock for 449. So these are pretty expensive remotes, but boy, they look nice. They look just like the remote that Control4 is suing everybody over. So
this is their remote.
Snap One suing intensifies, I guess. I don't know. I swear this Unfolded Circle was out longer, or at least this design that they were using was out longer than like the Neo remote even existed for some reason. I feel like they came onto the scene about the same time, and you could get the Neo remote or you could wait for Unfolded Circle to make theirs. I don't remember, but this looks neat. They've got a new, I guess, new processor. So it's a 64-bit ARM system on a chip. So it has a sleek 9.7 millimeter thin aluminum body, which is really thin. Be careful because you could bend it. Well, we actually have a bent remote to talk about next, but IR Blaster has a 3.5 millimeter jack on the dock 3, which you can add IR Blaster on to reach devices that are inside closed cabinets. That's a great idea.
Well, that's the part I was a little confused about, because does it have to be connected to the dock? Like, is the IR Blaster connected to the dock?
Yeah, usually, I mean, that's like the old Harmonies, right? They had the little dock, or it wasn't a dock.
It wasn't a dock, and that's the difference, because the old Harmonies you could place like behind the TV and hide it, and it would get devices that you would have in your cabinets and stuff. And then your Harmony remote was in its own stand charging at the side. Mm-hmm. Right. So if their dock and their stand is like one, if their dock and their blaster is the same piece, then you might not, how do you get to like devices that you may be hidden behind your TV or something like that? Right.
Yeah. Most of those docks have the IR Blaster inside of it, like inside the circle part of it. But
this one has an extension similar to the Harmony, you know?
So looks like it has compatibility with ESP Home as well. So you can do quite a bit with these guys. These have always been too expensive for my budget.
Yeah.
For what they are. But if anybody has one of these things, let us know how you like them. And they do look very interesting.
It's a step in a good direction, though, with the ESP Home integration. That just means you could bring it right into Home Assistant there, right? And that's now you're getting into Harmony territory, you know, Harmony replacement territory. But yeah, they are a little expensive, you know. It would be nice if they had like a slim down version. Then you could have the really expensive one for your theater system, right? And cheaper ones for the others around the house. But it's a nice step.
They used to have, this used to be like an open source remote. I remember like you could print the whole thing, but I don't think it is anymore. I think they have like pulled back from that idea. Like it's more, I want to say the Remote 2 or even the first remote that they did. Like they gave you all the hardware, like you could print the buttons and that kind of stuff. And then they're like, oh yeah, we're going to make a real remote after this. They made the Remote 2. Okay, yeah. So the Remote 2 came out during the pandemic. They couldn't get chips or anything for it. So it kind of was a flop. But now they're hoping to push this out with the Remote 3. So looks pretty cool.
I kind of want it, but I don't need it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Right. Well, if you don't want it that bad, we have some other options. And if you like remotes that are a little more benty, there's a Haptique RS90 that's coming out. It's on Kickstarter right now. They were hoping to raise $10,000. They raised $387,000. So that's pretty good. But they made a bendy remote, or it's not a bendy remote. It's probably been so far, but it's a bench remote. Looks like a phone that somebody thought people would have. Maybe they designed it in the 80s and they figured, in the future, phones will look like this. Yeah, I don't know. The Haptique RS90, pretty much the same. It's got a bunch of integrations with it. It has a little base station, works with Zigbee. Looks like it works with IR and has some Bluetooth integration as well. So this one, I don't know if the Kickstarter is right. This one looks pretty good too. What does this thing run?
It works with a lot of ecosystems too. It works with Homey, Home Assistant, Philips Hue, Sonos Infrared, Tuya, SmartThings, and Spotify. That's pretty impressive.
About $260 freedom dollars or €240
That's not bad
for the super early bird RS90.
Oh, that's really expensive.
There's 4 of them left as of right now. So,
but that's what I don't understand about Kickstarters is like you can buy the same thing all the way up to like €12,000 or 1,200 euro. I guess you could buy 4 of them for 1,200.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Why not have a 4-pack?
Why not? Yeah. You really.
That's what Ava does. So like, you want to buy 12 remotes? We'll sell you 12 remotes.
And the cool thing with this one is they have the IR extender over Wi-Fi. So the IR extender is actually, it looks like it's a plug. So you could put this behind the TV and still shoot out IR back there and not worry about it. Or you could put this in another room and it will send IR to, like, if you had, in a rack somewhere, your TV set up down there or something. It's kind of cool. They thought of it. So that's pretty cool. But it's Kickstarter and I'm not a fan of Kickstarter.
Yeah. It doesn't have, I mean, it doesn't really, they in the FAQs, they don't really go through all of the things. It says all the things that, like, it doesn't really have all the integrations that you want. Like, they have a Home Assistant integration right now, but they'll also create integration inside of Home Assistant. I don't really know what that means, but maybe it's only one way. They want to make it 2-way. It doesn't work with KNX yet. It has a microphone and speaker, so I guess you can use a voice assistant if it works. And what else did I see in here? Not open source code, like Unfolded Circle. So anyway, I guess there's 2 of them, the RS90 and the RS90X. The RX90X has an additional IR reader, a fingerprint sensor, OLED screen, and an octa-core processor for more performance. So there you go. If you want a bendy remote, we've got an option. If you want just the standard old Neo-looking remote, you can get that one from Unfolded Circle for a lot more money. And it probably exists today. Like I think the Unfolded Circle stuff is shipping, right? Or
yes,
or has shipped. Like it's a known quantity.
Yeah, this one specifically is not starting the Kickstarter until the 21st. So.
All right, let's move on. New product here from Govee as well. They've got a new outdoor wall light. I thought this was kind of cool. It looks kind of basic. It looks kind of small, but it's got RGB IC technology, which is their independent control technology, I guess. Lets you choose from millions of colors in various dynamic modes, create vibrant party lighting or ambience. Integrates right with the Govee Home app, so you can integrate it with all the other animations you're doing if you're in that ecosystem on the outside of your house with all their other outdoor stuff. I don't know. What do you guys think? This is a pretty cool little porch light. Like, you can swap it out and, Halloween comes around, you can change it to red or something to scare people. It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And just for context, this is a hardwired light, right? Like it's not
Hardwired, yeah.
or nothing like that. So it's meant to go over your junction box where you have existing lights, maybe, or you'll have to install a new junction box for it. But it looks like it's very flexible when it comes to like changing colors, and you can have multiple colors, and have a theme for your house. This would be a fun thing to have. And it doesn't look bad.
$89.
Yeah, it's actually not a bad price. I don't know if I'm a fan of the integrated LED fixtures myself.
Yeah.
Just because like when this thing dies, what are you going to do? Replace it with the exact same thing, hopefully? And if not, they don't make it anymore. What are you going to do? Buy a different one, I guess.
And that's a good point, because you'd have probably like multiple of these around your house, for matching purposes. And if one dies and you no longer can get it, then are you going to have to replace them all?
Yeah, I run into that with landscape lighting, because some people do the integrated LED landscape lighting. I'm like, ooh, this thing's dead and they don't make it anymore. So I have to install something that looks different.
Well, you guys are in luck because you can buy 2 of them for $169.
Oh, sweet.
A $25 coupon. So yeah.
Yeah.
Buy one now and save one for later.
Does it matter over Thread or Wi-Fi?
Govee, I think it's just, these are probably Wi-Fi. Yep, Wi-Fi. I still have the little outdoor lights plugged in from Christmas time outside, and I have the little spotlights shining up in some bushes on the outside, and they work pretty fine. They are still turning on, so that's a good thing. I can't complain. I mean, I could, but I'm not going to, because they're doing their job.
Don't do it.
Yeah,
it's not worth it.
All right, and I guess in commercial news that I completely missed because I didn't see their booth. Well, I did see their booth, but there's a reason I didn't go into it. Samsung has unveiled SmartThings Pro at Infocomm 2024. It's a business-centric version of SmartThings platform. Has a bunch of IoT control and automation for corporate environments built into it. Offers customizable APIs, seamless integration, allows businesses to optimize device usage with AI-powered analytics. They show off a couple of things here in the article. One thing is that floor plan mode that we kind of talked about. We kind of mentioned, I think, when we were talking with Daniel, they were saying that they announced that. And I mean, this makes a lot of sense. If you have a dashboard or something for a business, you want to just pull it up and see what's going on. This does look like it works really well with that interface. So pretty cool stuff.
No mention if it's secured by Knox though. Is this Knox security or no?
What is that?
That's their built-in phone encryption security software.
Oh.
It's on like their tablets, and I think it's on their TVs as well. So it's kind of weird not to hear this mentioned here, but especially with being enterprise, like we're super secure.
Interesting. No, I've never heard of that. I went by their, again, they were in the video smoke and fart smoke area.
Oh yeah.
So
that's a good area to be in.
I went to look at the booths over there, and we saw the back of the Samsung booth, and it was just a giant black wall, probably 100 feet long. And we were like, what the heck is this for? And right down at the very end was a little tiny sign that said Samsung. And it's like, well, I got to walk around this whole thing to get no. So
yeah, you got to see the displays inside.
No, we didn't go around to. We let it be. I missed this whole thing.
They got to scan your badge.
Yeah, LG didn't have the bouncer thing. You had to like scan your badge in. They let you in. Yeah, that was weird last year, but this year it was just more open. I don't know. This looks pretty cool for businesses and that kind of thing. It's interesting to see Samsung SmartThings move into that market. So, all right. Well, all the links and topics discussed tonight can be found over on our show notes over at HomeTech.fm/486. Nothing in the mailbag this week, but we do have a pick of the week. I ran across this right when I was leaving town, and I forgot all about it until tonight when we were going through the show notes. But if you own a personal home weather station and you have a computer with a dedicated internet connection, the National Weather Service wants your help. They want your data. They want your sweet weather data. And I think, like, out of all the things you could do, this is probably a pretty good thing that you can do. Like, so I have the Tempest thing. I'm going to hook it up to this, and you can upload all of your data for your weather, your like hyper local weather to the weather station thing, and they can get better forecasting stuff data out of it. So I don't know. I think I'm going to hook it up. I ran across this and I thought it was a good idea.
Look at that. We have a lot in Ohio, supposedly. It says there are over 7,000 registered CWAP CWOP members worldwide, including a large number in Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio. It's because we don't have anything else to do.
Citizen Weather Observer Program, CWOP.
Oh,
there you go.
CWOP.
It's a private-public partnership. There we go. With three main goals: to 1, collect weather data contributed by citizens. That's you. And 2, to make this data available for weather services and homeland security. Of course, you got to put security in there. They wouldn't get any funding. And then 3, it's weather. It's like, really? Anyway, for 3, to provide feedback to the data contributors so that they have the tools to check and improve their data quality. So I'm curious. I really, this looks like a lot of fun. So I'm gonna hook it up. Nothing really happens to my weather data other than it going into my graphs. So I think this would be a good thing, like to share it with the National Weather Service, and maybe it'll help a forecast, or maybe people will see how hot it is, where you are. That's a pretty good idea.
I don't think you have to email them to get it set up, though.
Well, I mean, it's the government.
Talk to somebody.
You gotta send a fax in. It's probably keep 1 or 2 of those stamps handy.
Oh, deal.
Probably gonna
write a letter.
I've got a couple hundred still. So
yeah, let's fill out a form. Yeah. We'll put a link to that. Yeah, you can do this in the show notes. And yeah, it looks pretty cool.
US only. US only. I tried to look to see if I could donate to Canada, but
nope.
We don't care about Canada.
Yeah, weather starts at the border and then stops somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico where the hurricanes are.
America's never really gotten along with other countries, so.
Yeah, especially when you use Celsius.
Oh yeah, they don't know how to read that. They're like,
they're saying it's
like, wrote this for Fahrenheit.
They're saying it's 20 degrees and hot. Like, I don't understand.
Most of the world uses Celsius.
La. Okay. We don't need.
Yeah, we don't care about that. Okay. We're the best.
Oh man, too good. All right. Well, if you have any feedback, comments, questions, pick of the week, or great ideas for a show, give us a shout. Our email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm. You can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form. All right, project updates. First you got to do your Home Assistant updates. I haven't been around in a while, so maybe I should go check and see what Home Assistant updates need to be made. Gavin, you've got a couple of stories in here. There's a 2024 mid-year update for Home Assistant. Looks like they've got a bunch of plans for the year.
Well, no, they're just giving their roadmap, things they wanted to work on, things they're working on, things they're focused on. It's if you're a Home Assistant user, you really like to see, where they're going, what they're thinking. This is a good article to read. One thing I really liked is they have a lot of focus now on the user interface, that experience. And I think that was the one thing most people complained about whenever I talked to them about Home Assistant was the interface. They didn't like, the dashboards and stuff like that. They just found it ugly, overcomplicated. Well, they know that and they're working on it and they're making some big strides. And, they were just giving you an update on what they've done. This isn't a promise as to, what they're bringing. It's just, what they'd like to work on. And they touched on every aspect, the voice assistant. They talked on ESP Home. They talked about every aspect of it. So it's a good read if you're interested in where Home Assistant is going.
Yeah, they're always doing something over there. I mean, it's quite, wow, this is quite, they're always posting these blog posts. It's like,
they're very vocal. Yeah.
They're just, it's like the most prolific company ever. Like either they're doing blog posts that are, 5,000 words long, or they're doing like massive updates to their system. It's like, how did you?
They're doing a lot, and it's evident on their monthly releases. Right? Every release, every month, you see how many, lots of code gets written, lots of things, like you may just be looking for the thing that, is flashy in your face or the new feature, but there's a lot of behind the scenes work constantly going. And for a small team, they're very passionate. They work hard.
Yeah, no, what did they say? About 30 people working there. They're just
and growing,
plowing through these things. Yeah. Yeah. You saw, I've been gone, 2 weeks on this, not paying attention. It went from 24.5.5 to 24.6.3. So it's quite a bit.
Yep. And there's bug fixes, and they have a lot of dependencies. A lot of it's libraries, and they don't wait for a yearly cycle to update. They're constantly updating. Whereas certain other platforms, you either don't know that they updated, or you have to wait for their yearly WWD something to hear about an update.
You'll hear about an update that may take place in the fall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, and that's pretty good stuff. One big update here: the Sky Connect is now going to be the ZBT1, ZBT-1, which means there's probably going to be a ZBD-2, right? Or a 3?
Well, their Sky Connect, for those people that aren't familiar, was their, I guess, their own hardware dongle that did Zigbee and Thread. And they're going to give it more of a better naming scheme that allows for them to introduce other hardware and have a naming scheme. So they did hint, I think, at a Z-Waves dongle they may be coming out with, which would be interesting. We'll see where they go, but it looks like they kind of want to dabble a bit more in the hardware space. So that's a good sign.
Cool. And then I guess you got an article here about exposing Matter devices with a Matter Bridge add-on through Home Assistant. So you basically take all your Home Assistant devices. And you're like, all right, well, there's not enough Matter devices on my network. Now there are. Everything I have integrated with Home Assistant, which is my printer and everything, it's going to be on Matter now. And so they've done it. Those crazy sons of bitches have done it. Right?
That's pretty much, yeah. That's and we've touched on this in the past when we talked about the Matter, the Python library that was out there that allowed you to import devices and expose them to Matter, right? And that was cool. But somebody actually created an integration into Home Assistant that will, using that same library, expose now any device in Home Assistant into the Matter ecosystem, and now you can easily add it to whatever you want, right? It was a matter of time, and it's pretty cool that you could just stand up a Home Assistant, put this in, connect all your devices to that, and now that's your bridge into Matter, and then you can have them on any ecosystem you want out there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. This is the Matter Bridge thing we talked about the other night. I think it's a Node.js,
something like that.
Yeah. I do remember seeing that. I like it. They ran some limitations in it. Alexa doesn't pair when you have over 100 devices.
I saw that.
Apple and Google do.
I saw that.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Not all device and entity types are supported. Of course, Matter limitation. They don't even have vacuums out yet, but here we are. And it's possible that some devices will be displayed as the incorrect device type and other third-party Matter controllers. So, all early days, and the little bridge thing, kind of brings those new devices over. I think it's just going to help move things forward. This is really cool. I like it. All right, let's move on. Gavin got some project updates. Looks like you've been in a car. What's going on?
I just touched on this because I felt like I was in the future in this. But a friend of mine with a Tesla has what do they call it? The full self-driving module or something. He had that on, right? So I was like, I have to try this. As nervous as I was, I have to try this. And I got in the car and he switched it on and we plugged in the closest Home Depot, and this car took us there without him, touching the wheel. We were both nervous. Like even him, the owner, I could see nervous. He was still a bit nervous and stuff, but it was pretty cool. And it felt like, you're living in like the Jetsons, you're living the future. It's not there yet though. So we then, after we made it safely to Home Depot, we plugged in another address that took us on the highway. And on the highway, it almost ran us into a truck. I don't know what it was thinking, but all of a sudden it just started pulling to the left into the side of a truck, and we had to grab it and say, no, right? And then on the way home, it was, almost drove us through a construction zone on the highway. I think it didn't know how to handle those pylons on the road or something like that. So it's not there. It was a little bit nerve wracking, but it was really cool to watch it on the screen in the city, like identifying all the cars, the people. The other thing about it is, man, we got honked so much because it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very,
it's cautious. sometimes.
Cautious. Yes. You'd make a left turn and you can make that left turn and you're fine, right? This car is going to wait forever. And it's like a granny driving it at that point. And we got honked a number of times. And, I just put up a couple choice fingers and people quieted down, right? But it was really cool to see this in action finally.
Yeah, it's interesting in how the screen has like it identifies the other cars and kind of puts these little ghost cars on the thing. It tells you what the traffic lights are doing. Kind of can see what's a green light, what's a red light, and the lanes and everything. Sometimes when there's like the striping isn't on a lane, it gets a little confused and it like you said, it's a very cautious granny driver thing most of the time, which it probably should be.
Yeah, it should be, but it's cool to watch.
Yeah. It's kind of fun to sit in there. We've got a ways to go on it. Hopefully one of these car companies will figure it out one of these days.
Yeah, hopefully. Other than that, I've been playing around with some Z-Wave 800 products. I don't know how much I can say about them yet, so I'll just leave it off till, next week. But, I finally paired Z-Wave 800 to my Home Assistant. For those of you that are interested in doing this, I had to do it through the Z-Wave JS UI itself and not in Home Assistant. And there's tricks to doing it. You have to pre-add the device and then switch it over to Z-Wave Long Range. And then when you turn it on, it adds itself in long range mode. And that just means it's like a hub and spoke type of setup. It's not using mesh. So you can get better distances out of there. So right now I have the device sitting in the furthest corner of my backyard in the furthest spot possible from my hub. And it's working beautifully out there. Like I've had no issues. It doesn't drop off. It works. And I'm pretty impressed. But for those of you that, are interested in the long range, one thing to keep in note, if you use associations, you cannot associate long range devices with the mesh devices.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right? Like on the same USB dongle, you can run both networks. Right? So you can have long range devices and you can have mesh devices, but you can't associate them. You can only associate, long range with long range and mesh with mesh. So something to keep in mind, if you're looking to get into this and you use a lot of associations. But other than that, so far it's been cool. And I will be talking about this a little more in the future. Don't worry.
Nice.
Yep. And then I've been playing around with Home Assistant and OpenAI. I saw a demo of this, the other day, and I just thought it was the coolest thing where they plugged in, they allowed integration with OpenAI and their voice assistant. And I integrated it and I was playing around with it. And it's very cool to now talk to your Home Assistant. In my case, I was typing to it. I don't have the voice box yet, but to type to it like in like natural language, and it parses it. It's not prompted. Like today where you'd say open here, open there, you could just say anything and it will have a response for you. You go, my house is too hot. And it'll be like lowering the temperature, that type of thing. Right. And it was really cool because you could ask it all sorts of questions because it has the data. You could say, what's the temperature upstairs across all the, average temperature upstairs. And it would take all the sensors that you have flagged in rooms and areas, average them out and give you an average temperature of upstairs. Like you didn't have to create another sensor for the average temperature or anything like that.
That's cool.
So
yeah,
it's a huge step. It's very impressive. The only thing is the OpenAI integration costs some money because you got to buy tokens and stuff. So I just did it to play with it and then disconnected it because, it's not there yet.
How many, typically those aren't, it's not a very expensive thing to do with OpenAI.
Not really, but I didn't want to run the risk of Home Assistant sending a whole bunch of requests. So,
it's a beta. So
I just was like, I'll play with this. All right, cool. I don't want to run the risk. And,
don't ban me.
So when they get there though, it will be really cool to, have this integrate. This is the future I'm looking at. Not having to program stuff and it just knows, right?
Yep.
And it's two-way integration, so it can turn on the lights. You could tell it to turn on all the lights upstairs and it would know what your upstairs lights are and turn them on. So you don't have to program that. And it's really cool to see where they're going with this. So I was playing a little bit with that. And then I did some 3D printing of some pool irrigation. This is very specific to me, but I ran my irrigation into the pool through the skimmer. So I created like some 3D printed and designed some ends on it and stuff like that, so I could easily remove it and to take out the skimmer basket and stuff like that, and direct the water how I want to direct it. But I also added little mounts for all the devices I have in my skimmer too, to hold them out of the water. So little mounts that attach to the side of it that holds like the water level measure, and the temperature measuring thing, all in the skimmer, so it's all hidden and everything. So again, if you don't have a 3D printer, man, being able to do stuff like that is amazing. So I highly recommend one. Prusa. Anyways, and finally, based on recommendations, high recommendations in our hub, I picked up one of the Weem boxes. Now, these are little streaming boxes that are equivalent to, like, what would you compare them to? The Sonos?
Literally Sonos. The app looks like Sonos too. Yeah. So you might as well just call it Sonos.
And they do everything. Like, when it comes to the number of inputs and outputs, like, they have like all the outputs. They'll have like, you can even Bluetooth an output, right? Which is really cool. And you can AirPlay to it and Google Cast to it and all the sorts of streams to it. I mainly bought it just for, like, I'm not even doing it justice. It's got so much more features in it. And I bought it for my basement, cause I use AirPlay with all my Sonos and everything like that. And it's kept in sync perfectly. And I was doing thinking about my backyard speakers, and they have the Weem amp, and it's a fraction of the price of Sonos. And I might just jump in and grab the amp and put some speakers outside and just go like that way, right? Because for the price and how well this works, it's pretty cool. I could replace all my Sonos with Weem if they had something like, one thing I like about Sonos is the ones that have the Amazon built in.
Oh, yeah.
Because then you have the one device that handles both the Amazon and your music, and it's not compromising the quality of your music, right? And I always find the speaker or the microphone in those devices were really good too. Like, it always amazes me when I'm playing off my the Beam when I'm watching TV and I call it and it lowers the volume and hears me. Like, the microphone array is really good. But other than that, this Weem is a serious competition if they start to get more traction. So I highly recommend.
So on the Weem, a couple questions. One, are you using the Alexa built-in Bluetooth remote?
No, I didn't. I didn't get the Bluetooth remote. No, I didn't need all that, right? Because I don't want a remote where I have to hold a button to talk to it and stuff like that. I just want
to talk to Alexa.
Yeah, I just want to call out into the air, right? So I didn't get the remote. No, I got the one without the remote. So I have the Pro, I think it is.
So my questions with this is if you're playing. Oh, they have like quite a few models. I just didn't realize. I thought they had like one of each, like Sonos, but no, they have different versions.
Yeah,
of like,
and it has an API and stuff for integration. There's a Home Assistant integration for it. I haven't gotten into that, but trust me, it has a lot. They're not trying to lock you into their kind of ecosystem. Put it that way.
Yeah. So like, like on Sonos, when I go and play music or whatever, it's playing on the Sonos, right? And if I get a phone call, the music doesn't stop or whatever. Is that what they're doing here? Or like, is that how it works? Or is it more just like a extension of Bluetooth or using AirPlay or something like that? Like what happens if you change, I can hit play on Sonos and then go into another room and turn on like podcast app and listen to something completely different on my headphones, right?
Yes.
With some of these systems, like that's probably not possible once you change the music app.
No, you can run these independently, right?
So they stand alone and they'll run the music services locally?
Yeah, you can run it because I can AirPlay to one of them and somebody can AirPlay to another one of them, and it's two different systems, right?
But that's AirPlay.
Yeah, that's AirPlay. And if you're playing it through their app, you just pick the speaker you want to. But I'm pretty sure that you can't do it through the same app. Like if you have two different phones, you can maybe do it different things in different rooms. Like I think Sonos is that way too, right?
Well, no, like my question with it was like, I have music services.
Does it stream from the app?
Yeah. Does it stream directly to the box itself, or does it stream from my phone through AirPlay?
If you're using the actual WIM app, not AirPlay or Chromecast.
Yeah.
But it still streams from the WIM app. So like my example there, where it's like I can play Spotify in the house, come out the garage, or go mow the lawn and plug my headphones in. If I leave the house, Sonos still plays. Like it doesn't matter because it's not tied to my phone in any way, shape, or form other than I hit the play button from the phone.
Oh, you mean when you trigger it to play, is it going to stream it from the internet independently of your phone? Or
Yeah, say you hit play on the WIM app and you left the house. Like, does the music keep going or does it stop?
Through the app, yeah, I believe it. Through the app, it keeps going.
Oh, okay.
But if you were to AirPlay, it's coming from your phone.
It's going to stop. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Robert in the hub was saying something about AirPlay. I read it and I think he was kind of talking about that feature with AirPlay, but I'm not sure. But our main use around the house is we AirPlay stuff and just pick the speakers and it's easy from our phones, right?
Gotcha.
And it does that really well.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Yeah. And what's funny is like, since I have the older Sonos stuff, I've never used the AirPlay 2, anything AirPlay 2?
Yeah, it's all AirPlay 2 in my house. And AirPlay 2 is like, it's really nice.
I mean, I have experience with AirPlay 1, not so
not
nice.
As nice. No. AirPlay 2 is significantly better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. All right. Well,
I'm gonna go out on a whim and say that we're gonna see this company more often.
Stop it. Get out of here.
Oh boy. On that note, we're cutting TJ out of the.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame you.
Jeez.
I just had to take it.
That wraps up my projects for this week. I know it's been a busy week. I know.
Well, nice. TJ, TJ, what do you have here? What have you done?
Oh my gosh, I got so much stuff.
I leave town and you guys are like, I'm going to do a million things. You got 10 Aqara devices to talk about. What did you do?
Yeah, so I got some new stuff to talk about. First of all, I want to mention that I got annoyed with my Home Assistant setup this week. Like, just stuff wasn't working correctly, and I was having trouble with Zigbee devices and everything else. And I've been having trouble for like a couple months now. And so I decided just to wipe everything. And I don't know if you've ever wiped your home automation system, guys, but it's not any fun. You got to go through and repair all your devices. Luckily, like the Zigbee and Z-Wave stuff like keeps the devices. But I just went through and just set everything back up. So I'm in the process of doing that. But a couple weeks ago, Aqara sent me some products to try out. So they sent me a U50 door lock, the G4 doorbell camera, a window and door sensor, and then the G3 security indoor camera.
Nice.
And so I've been playing with those. Honestly, the thing I like most is the U50 lock. It's not their newest lock, but but this lock is honestly really nice. I install a lot of smart locks, and I did a short stint as a locksmith, so I've installed a lot of locks in general. Honestly, this lock was the easiest lock I've ever installed in my life. And so if you've ever installed like a Z-Wave lock or like a smart lock in general from like Kwikset or Schlage or whatever, you put the outside piece on, and then you put this giant plate on the inside of the door, and then you screw those together, and then it's got the little thing that sits on top of that, and then you screw that to that, and then the cover for the battery has like a screw, and then there's like 5 more screws that go on. It's so annoying to install a smart lock.
You make it sound so complicated.
I mean, it's not, but it's just like a lot of pieces, and you got to do that like balancing act where you like hold the outside and you hold the inside with your screw gun, and you put it all together, and it's just annoying. Aqara actually made this super easy. This is the first door lock I've got from Aqara. And they have a similar setup, but it's way less pieces, which I'm always about. And so you put the outside piece on, it's got this little itty bitty plate, and it's like a tenth of the size of the one they give you with every other smart lock in the world. And it just, you put the 2 screws in there and that holds it. And then you put the whole inside assembly on top of it and put 2 screws in there, and you put the thumb turn on. And it's just like, it's like half the amount of steps. And so it's really nice. And honestly, the lock itself is really quiet. If you ever use the smart lock, half of them are really loud. I actually have a defective Schlage at a client's house I got to go replace next week, because it sounds awful. It's just so loud and annoying. But that's how a lot of smart locks are. And I understand you got to move physical parts and the deadbolt and all that good stuff. But this thing is like ultra quiet. I mean, you probably wouldn't like wake anybody up or be annoyed by it. So I honestly, I think it's a good one. I have it integrated through HomeKit. And then I'm bringing it into Home Assistant to do everything. So it's kind of nice just to have the HomeKit app so I can just quickly pull it up if I need to. But yeah, it's honestly a pretty nice lock.
Does it have the home key thing in it as well, or you can just tap your phone? I know we're against tapping on things this week, but like
so old school.
Like, can you tap your phone onto it and unlock your door that way?
That I don't know. Let me see.
You can tap your watch too. I mean,
it does have a home key. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I've actually never messed with that, so I should probably go ahead and set that up.
Yeah, that's the most exciting thing about the new things is the home key.
Yeah, that's nice. And one other thing I like too is that it does still have a physical key override. I'm a huge fan of physical keys, and I don't necessarily need to have a key on me at all times or anything. But all smart locks die at some point, either like batteries or just electronics or something, and you need a key. And it has one, but it's hidden. You have to pull the cover down to see it. And so I think that's pretty smart.
Does it have dependency on, so you're using it without their hub, right?
Correct. So I'm literally just using it with HomeKit. I don't have their hub at my house, but we'll get into that.
Is it fully functional without the hub?
Yeah, I'm able to program it, all the codes and everything like that. So you don't need their hub at all.
And do you have to go?
As far as I can tell, I mean, I don't know if I'm missing anything, but with a smart lock, I'm literally just, I'm auto locking it and unlocking it. So I'm not using it too crazy.
Can it be added to Home Assistant directly, or do you have to go through HomeKit?
You have to go through HomeKit for it. It doesn't have like Matter or anything built into it. So that's how I have it. I have it imported via HomeKit through Home Assistant.
Okay. That's cool.
So
that's cool.
And it works fine. I haven't had any problems. I can change the codes and all that good stuff. It's got I think through the HomeKit integration with Home Assistant, you can go there and set one code. But if you want multiple codes, you have to use the call services option through Home Assistant.
Okay.
I think mine I can set up and use different, each individual user in the home app could have, or in the home could have their own.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true for HomeKit, but I don't use HomeKit to manage the lock.
Gotcha. Okay.
I use Home Assistant, and just the integration itself only gives you one user code. But I can do. There's a call service option where you can basically send commands to devices through Home Assistant, and that's how I manage my codes anyway. Because I don't change codes that often, and so that's just how I do it manually anyway.
Okay.
So. Yeah, pretty cool. And then they also, as mentioned, they sent me the video doorbell here. That thing is really cool. It comes with a chime as well, so which I think is kind of necessary anymore. It works. The quality is really good. Honestly, if HomeKit could do like local storage instead of the iCloud storage, I think I would just switch to HomeKit Video. It's so much better. Than Blue Iris. Blue Iris is a dumpster fire.
It's so funny because everybody comes back.
Yeah, well, you have to because it's the only option.
Right?
But I just need to get all my stuff brought into HomeKit. But that's been pretty nice as well. I switched out my Unify G4 camera video doorbell. Kind of ironic because they both are called G4.
Yeah, right.
Switched it out for that, and it's been working great. So.
Does this one have a look-down camera too? I can't tell.
It does not.
No? What's the thing on the bot? I guess it's just a sensor of some type.
Yeah, it's got like facial recognition and some other stuff.
Interesting.
Pretty nice. I think they should make them in other colors, though. Gray doesn't really fit in with anything on my house.
No.
I like the white one. That's why I like my Unify one. But if your biggest complaint is the color, I think they're doing pretty good. And it's got micro SD card slots, so you can do 24/7 recording. Not a lot of video doorbells do. I mean, especially like the Ring and Nest and stuff like that. Well, I guess Nest does with a subscription.
Oh, wait. This is the one that can announce Daddy's home.
No.
I remember this one.
Yeah.
We talked about this quite a bit. Are you going to have to set that one up? Set the chime up to announce that when you get in.
I'll try to do that.
Yeah.
This one, too, I don't use it with their hub, but you can do the automations triggered by facial recognition, too.
Well, yeah.
So that would be pretty sweet.
That's how it knows. That's how it knows Daddy's
home.
I do remember talking about this. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good one. And then I also I use alarm.com at my office. I have a little warehouse that I keep all my junk. And I use alarm.com really to just know when somebody opens one of my doors and to open my garage door. But I pay a monthly fee for it. I'm the dealer for it, so I don't like pay much. I think it's like $10 or something. But I don't need it in my office, and so I think I'm going to. I'm slowly transitioning away. I'm going to go to HomeKit, I think, just because it seems like the simplest thing. I don't need complexity. I literally have 2 doors and a camera, so I don't need like a whole bunch of complication or anything. And so they sent me one of these G3 hub camera things and a door sensor. And I gotta say the camera actually works really well. It's got person detection or people following, I forget what they call it, where it'll actually follow you around. So it's a PTZ camera, and it'll follow you around as you walk around and everything. And so that's pretty cool. The one I have has little ears. I don't know if that's standard or not. But it's got
like
little
a little
ears.
adorable ears. Like, what's this little adorable thing looking at me? Oh, it's a camera. Got me.
Yeah, that's what Nicole said as soon as she saw this. She was like, "Why does this thing have ears?" I'm like, I don't know. It just that's the way it does, you know. But it's really cool. Honestly, I haven't really got to touch the Aqara software that much. I've used Aqara devices over the years, and I've always used them with Home Assistant. Which hasn't always been a good experience. But I've never really used their software. I actually like Aqara's software. They make it super easy to add devices. When I went to go add my door sensor, it was like basically just pull the tab and go to the screen and it'll auto find it. And that's how every smart home device should be found. I shouldn't have to like tap a bunch of buttons and do this and rub my belly and everything. It should just find it. And it did. It was magic. Within like 30 seconds, it was working with my door.
See, not only I hate tapping.
I'm really confused. So the pictures on their website show a mix of the ones with ears and one without. And if you go buy it on Amazon, you do not have the option of getting it with ears.
So I think and that's what I was confused about too. The one I received didn't look like it was anything special, but according to their website, it comes with the ears. It's just like a separate piece, but mine was already installed.
Oh.
So, and I can't find a picture with it, obviously. Here we go. Here's kind of one.
Yeah.
It's not really, but yeah, it's not really descriptive of what or reflective of what you actually get. But it's a cute little thing.
Interesting. Okay. Well, so you can take the ears off if you want. I don't know.
I guess. I mean, I'm not going to take them off. So I'm probably never going to find out. Because I mean, I think if somebody broke into my warehouse, which I'm not really worried about, and they saw this, they'd probably like it. You know what I mean? They'd walk right to it. They'd show their face and everything. But what's this cute little thing?
Gotcha.
Follow me.
Very nice.
So I'll have to see what other Aqara devices I can get for the office that I don't really need. Maybe I need like a temperature sensor or something.
Very nice. And these are expensive though. They're $109.
I mean, that's not bad. And you can like this one for the Amazon right now has a coupon for $22 off. So,
right.
I mean, like $80 something. That's not bad for a camera hub. I mean, it's got Zigbee built into it, HomeKit, all that good stuff. So,
I guess you add on that. I'm thinking of like the Wise PT, like the similar this thing.
Well, nothing's as cheap as Wise. Come on,
like these guys. Like
this will probably work though.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's why this one's unplugged, right? I don't know.
Yeah. And honestly, the Aqara one looks way better, Seth. I mean,
this one doesn't have ears. Like I'd have to.
Yeah, you need ears. We need to make a separate company called Camera Ears.
Camera Ears.
So that's my Aqara stuff. I'm gonna probably add some more devices. I like it, and the software is nice and all that good stuff. I think it'll be a good office automation solution because, like I said, I don't need much. I kind of just maybe I'll just try to find out if they have like a relay or something so I can control my garage door.
These days, I highly recommend Aqara stuff, especially when they went to the Zigbee 3.0 stuff. It was much more stable. They played a lot better with other systems, and they just seem to be coming out with different things. They're innovating in certain spaces, and I like that.
Yeah.
Well, TJ, I was not expecting 300 Aqara reviews, but I was expecting you to tell me how much you're enjoying listening to your Sonos Ace headphones.
Oh, I got some news for you. I already returned them. No, so so they weren't. I think we've talked about Sonos headphones for the past like 12 years now.
Yeah, it's been a
but basically
theme.
the reason I wanted Sonos headphones was because I basically wanted a Sonos zone on my head, right? Like, and we kind of got that, but not really, because it only works with the soundbar. Granted, I'm probably only ever going to use it with the soundbar, but I want it to function like Sonos devices, and it doesn't, and so I'm not buying them. But I did buy it to test out, and I returned it to Best Buy 5 days later. I honestly got to say, as far as headphones go, they are really nice headphones. The build quality on them is really nice. They give you this travel case with it, which looks nice, but I think the travel case kind of sucks. It like tries to hide the zipper. That's whatever. It's a small detail, but the presentation of Sonos headphones is exactly what you would expect from Sonos.
Okay.
They're good quality, and they feel nice. When I was wearing them, I didn't feel like they were like too heavy or anything like that. And the sound quality was actually really good. I paired them with my phone. Setting up with the Sonos app was pretty easy and everything. It's just they're good headphones. Do I need good Sonos headphones for $500? I don't think so. And so that's why I returned them.
All right.
I have one person that's asked me about them though, and I might sell a pair, but that's it. Nobody else has talked to me about them. When I told my distributor like a couple months ago to let me know when they come up for sale to tell me, they didn't tell me. I just saw them on the table the other day. So nobody cares about Sonos headphones. I was like, hey, let me know as soon as these become available. And they did not.
Great job, Patrick Spence. There you go.
They forgot about them too.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well,
but yeah, good headphones if you need headphones. But I feel like for $500, there's probably better headphones out there, unless you already have a $900 Sonos Arc that you really want to listen to on your head. But whenever they get other soundbars supported, I think that'll be a big difference. Like the Sonos Beam would be a good option, because then, it'd only be like $1,000 purchase instead of a $1,300 purchase.
As my friend Gavin likes to say, never buy anything based on promises, because
never.
I would agree with that.
Even if you trust Sonos, which I don't know if you can do anymore, because evidently they've changed their terms of service to say explicitly that they will sell your data and information. So
that's right.
Just snuck that one in while we were all griping about a bad app update.
They got to get money while their company is still around.
Yeah. Here are all of our angry customers. Feast. Too good. All right. Well, that sucks. I do wish that they had come out with something better, like some headphones that actually integrated with Sonos services, like you're talking about. Maybe not even on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, like Sonos Radio. Yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy if it worked with Sonos Radio?
Anything. Like, it'd be nice to listen to Sonos Radio on your headphones, but you can't. Only through Sonos. Or with your $900 soundbar. Yeah, amazing. What a miss. Anyway, that's it. That's all you got? You got any more devices that you've been playing?
That's all I got. We got the pantry done. I don't know if I talked about that last time, but it's actually like we got like shelving and stuff installed. So now I'm working on the LED lighting for there. We're going to do shelf lighting like we did in the kitchen. So I got the controllers and I think like 60 feet of LED strips that I got to work on installing. So
nice.
I'll post a picture of that. Ooh, actually, I did get my fence lighting done. We'll have to post some pictures in the show notes.
Oh yeah, you were mocking that out last time we talked, I think.
Yeah, so we like just ran wire all across the yard, all janky like. And so this past week, before we got this heat wave this week, I ran actual conduit and I attached it to the fence, and I ran the landscape lighting for all the deck lights and installed them and everything. It looks amazing.
Nice.
It literally lights up the whole yard, and so we technically don't even need more lights. I put I think there was 16 of them altogether, maybe 17. But they're using the 6000K, like 6-watt bulbs, and it lights up the whole backyard like a stadium. So
nice.
It's really nice. It looks good with the stained fence and everything like that. So we'll post some pictures of that, because I am pretty proud of that.
Yeah, that's one of those like labor intensive projects that you can brag about. Go ahead.
yeah, and the conduit's done. So I mean, whenever I want to add more stuff, like my panorama camera, I'll talk about next week. I can, or audio or whatever else. So I ran a 3/4 inch conduit, and I can add whatever I want.
Very nice. All right. Well, I actually, you know, I got in from Vegas and I was like kind of sick, and then I woke up a few days later, and then I was like, well, I should probably do some projects. So like I was like, what are the guys have been like really, you know, wanting done, you know, the longest, I think. So I was like, let me get on that first. So, you know, I started working on some other projects. I didn't finish them. I was just going to say that. I didn't finish them.
I'm hoping this leading up to the range hood, you know, like this is what I'm.
No, that's on the book still. I think I'm gonna know what I'm gonna do with that now, because there's some different technology that came out I'm gonna play with. Yeah, that's probably the oldest one, but I don't know. There's some other stuff I know that you guys are really concerned with. It's not the stickers, although I do have something coming for the stickers. I think you're gonna really enjoy, TJ. So maybe we can get the stickers, but I finished this one here. And I want to share it with you guys tonight. And it's really for everyone, right? Like everyone can use this. So I know that we talked about this. Actually, we talked about this earlier. Like we're worried about the weather here in Florida, but I decided to like make it easy for you guys to determine like if iguanas were falling out of trees.
Oh,
so
you bought a new domain.
Yeah, of course I did.
Or iguanasfalling.com. Is that it?
You can't even hold a straight face right now.
That is hilarious.
Oh boy.
What a great guess, TJ. How did you know?
Because I figured nobody else would take that domain. Why would anybody else want that?
So I made this app here, I guess we can call it that, and I found some free weather service APIs, and so like if you look at the bottom, it'll tell you like if the iguanas are okay in each one of our cities.
You really did this.
So
the iguanas are okay.
It actually takes it. Yeah, so it's okay. They're all right. Now I know you're wondering like what it would look like if they're like too cold.
Obviously.
So like this is for you guys, you know, and as soon as they do fall out of the trees, other people will see this stuff. But this is what, you know, this is a mock-up version of what it'll look like when they're falling out of trees and
animations and all. Wow.
So yeah, I mean,
so listeners, if you're listening to this, just remember Seth is doing this instead of getting stickers out, so.
Oh, but this is pretty funny.
Think of all the stickers that could have been done.
Iguanas falling.
It is pretty funny.
Yeah, so go check it out. Iguanasfalling.com. It'll tell you if they're falling out of the trees here in Florida. Also, it'll tell you if, you know, they could be falling out of the trees in Williamsburg, Ohio, or Pickering, Ontario. And you know what's nice about it, I may have the ability to extend this, because like you can this API, you just send it a Latin Lange and it will basically give you the weather forecast back, and it's kind of nice. It's fairly decent API terms, and I was like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think you can even self-host it if you wanted to. So it's kind of wild. But there you go. Iguanas. They're okay.
Wow. You gotta expand this to like you get ourmosquitosbiting.com.
Well, that's just like always yes. Yeah.
Let's start, you know, is the maple syrup floating.com for Canada.
Yeah, anything temperature related, I suppose I could write that for you. There we go. Yeah, iguanasfalling.com. If you're concerned about the iguanas falling out of trees here in Florida, you can head on over to that and check on it. So yeah, for the most part. And of course, I mean, it'll tell you in the cities, but like it's really Florida here that we're worried about. And that's what the main one's for. But like if they're frozen in Ohio, I don't think it's going to freeze here. So
yeah, I think we have bigger problems because we don't have iguanas outside. Yeah. So
yeah, I think it's mostly a Florida thing. But if you did, in theory, you know, I mean, because who knows, climate change and whatnot, you might have iguanas. Who knows? They may migrate. It was 104 degrees in Pickering. You know, that's iguana level.
That's true.
Heat. So
yes. You guys iguanas.
If a listener is listening, Seth, and they live in a place with iguanas, can they be added to this website as well? Maybe we need to know if their iguanas are falling too.
Yeah, I mean, I have big plans for this. I think I'm probably just going to make a Slack bot out of it. So if you're in the hub and you're curious about what, Kevin.
Do this all before the stickers are done.
That's what just.
He's like, man, I got so much stuff to do. I need to do this. No, you don't. Nobody needs to do that.
That's the part that's driving me nuts is that Seth, the fact that he says he has projects, you should only have one project right now. Getting the stickers out. Like, that should be your only project. There's no S. It's a project.
Oh, man. This isn't the only thing I did, though.
And that's even worse. There were like 5 other things before the stickers.
This is the last one I started. I have others that are bigger.
Listeners, the stickers haven't been shipped yet. So if you still want to get in on the stickers, send us your name.
Feedback at HomeTech.fm.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well, yeah.
Make sure you put your actual mailing address. Some of you are sending addresses that make no sense. Oh wait, never mind. That's just not U.S. addresses.
Yeah, not U.S. addresses. They make no sense. But
I don't understand anybody else.
We're just going to paste them on the envelope, and they'll just, we'll hope they get delivered. I don't know.
Just type it exactly how we have to mail it, so that they could just print it out and put it on a sticker, and it will reach you. That's all.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
TJ didn't know what QC stood for.
How am I going to know QC means? Quality control. That's what that means.
Yeah, exactly.
Not in Quebec.
Quebec.
Well, there you go. I've been busy, so hopefully we'll get those stickers out. But also, you can check if the iguanas are falling now. So,
can you get a domain that says arethestickership.com?
Yes. I didn't tell you if it started shipping and to what country we're on. Oh,
Gavin, you need to stop talking because you're identifying my next project.
Are the stickers shipped?
What was that? I didn't hear it. Oh, yeah. It's available for $10.28 a year, Seth.
No, I already have one.
Oh, my gosh.
This is going to be summer projects. You guys are going to get a new one every week.
Summer project? Are you talking about the stickers or a summer project? Because they're supposed to be a spring project.
Oh.
Too funny. All right, well, if you're worried about iguanas, this is the show for you. If you need stickers, maybe next show we'll find out more about what we're doing with stickers.
How many domain names do you own? I'm just curious.
I don't want to talk about that.
Does the wife know how much you spend a year on domain names?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So, I mean,
you have a problem when you got to hide that from your wife.
Gavin, with the secret printers and the printers plural.
Yeah.
So I've had this printer for what, 2 months now? And she still thinks I have one printer. She thought I just brought up the one from the basement. She doesn't realize. And I'm only whispering because she's in the room next door. But
I'll have to see if Nicole got her number while we were at CDS.
No. Why you gotta do that to me, TJ?
Don't mess this up. Don't mess this up.
Like, why? I thought we were bros.
He's got hooks he's printing and stuff.
No, she still thinks I have one printer and I've just been playing around with it. Nope, she doesn't realize I have 2. I'm afraid to move the other one.
The third or fourth one, yeah.
When she finally recognizes it, you just be like, "No, this is old. What are you talking about? I've had this forever now."
When she's in the basement, hey, is that another printer in the basement? No, I just moved it back down. And then she'll be like, "Hey, you moved it back up to your office again?" Yep.
It likes to travel.
Yeah, it likes to travel.
Musical printers.
Oh, so yeah, that's my update on the printer right now. I only have one.
Oh.
All right.
How many printers does Gavin have.com?
Actually, I have 4 printers in my house for a guy that hates printers.
Oh my God, I know. That was the worst part about buying all the 3D printers. I was like, these are so awesome, but I hate printers.
Yes. I have 4 printers in my house. Oh, this hurts.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up this week. We do want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support through our Patreon page. If you don't know about the Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out here on the show, but every single pledge gets you an invite to our Slack chat where you and everyone else can get out there in there and talk about how Z-Wave is dead. Because that seems to be what people are saying. That's I don't know. I don't think it's dead, but
don't hate on my Z-Wave. Are you going to buy isZWaveDead.com too? How about istheshowpublished.com?
That's already technically, I mean, it's already there. It's RSS feed. All right. If you want to help out but can't support financially, totally understand. Just appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. That's going to wrap up the news here on HomeTech. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Take care.
Till next time.
.com. How many printers does Kevin have? It's
Available.
only $10.28 a year.
It's not bad.
Oh, that's because no one owns it.